Now, Phil Robertson's the Deputy Asia Director at Human Rights Watch. He's in Bangkok and is live with me now. Phil, we haven't seen executions since 1989. This has to be a message from the military junta, not just domestically, but to the international community as well. But the international community seems a bit powerless here to try and even stop them.
Well, it shows the depth of depravity that the Myanmar junta is prepared to descend to in order to try to get control of this situation. They are, now executing political prisoners. That's clearly what these people were. And, this is on top of the crimes against humanity that have been committed by military forces all across the country against civilians. It is astonishing that the international community has been sitting back and just twiddling their thumbs as Myanmar has descended into this horrible situation of absolute human rights abuses occurring across the country. The focus, I know, has been on Ukraine and other places, but the reality is we have an absolute disaster area in the middle of the Asian region, and the international community is doing precious little to say about it. Not even really speaking up. Maybe we'll see something now that these executions have taken place, but this is part of intimidation by the junta to try to quell any sort of resistance by the Myanmar people. And I don't think it's going to work. It's just going to get people more angry.
But Phil, human rights abuses, we've been documenting these human rights abuses now for decades in Myanmar, and every time the military junta has managed to get away with it simply because, like you say, the focus always seems to be on another area. Myanmar has, people just don't care about Myanmar, and that seems to be a problem.
Well, it's astonishing that we've kind of come to this point. But, it looked like last year when the international community was imposing sanctions and talking about a global arms embargo against Myanmar that we were making progress. And all that has just slid off the table in the most remarkable and astonishing way. What I hope in this horrible tragedy of the killing of these 4 political prisoners is that the international community will find its voice and find some determination to take action against the military junta. That, it recognizes that it is no longer possible to just hope that ASEAN, the regional organization, will somehow sort it out. It's clearly not going to happen that way, and it's going to require much more international intervention to make something happen and end these rights abuses.
Phil, it's actually interesting that you mentioned ASEAN there, the Association of Southeastern Asian Nations. Now, they have been the kind of go-to when it comes to trying to deal with any problems with Myanmar. This has to be a failure of them, surely, or is it something a bit more political?
Well, I think that ASEAN is hopelessly divided. They're really split right down the middle. And the Myanmar junta knows how to play them, and they've been playing them. They've been playing for time. They've been making excuses. And the rest of the world has continued to say that ASEAN centrality should be the policy moving forward. Quite clearly, ASEAN is probably the least likely international organization to solve this because of their continued policies of not interfering with internal affairs of other states. The reality is, I think that the ASEAN has to be now seen as a failure to deal with this, and there has to be some new structures and new interventions made by the international community to address the situation in Myanmar.
Phil Robertson there, live in Bangkok for us. Phil, always great to get your thoughts.
Thank you so much.